let me tell you my journey about my first bank account. So when I completed my secondary school, I got got a letter of invitation to join Kenyatta University, and of course, I had to, the only way to go to university was through applying for higher education loans board loan, so HELB as we call it in Kenya. And so I was told now for me to get my HELB loan, I need to have a bank account. McHugh, I was 17, so I wasn't even of age to get an ID, leave alone to get a bank account. And so one of the things I must admit for the first time is that there are two different dates, my actual date of birth and the date of birth on my ID. Because now I had to fast track my date of birth to be able to get my ID to get to open a bank account. But the story of many of us, that the first time we opened a bank account, we didn't have a choice. It was probably the only branch in your village, or your hometown, or it is what, when you got your first job, was what your employer recommended for you to open a bank account. But where are we in 2026? There has been a revolution around that sector. Now there are digital wallets, where no ID is required, no branch is required, and people are able to transact. Now we have virtual assets, and must pride myself in spearheading the first standalone Virtual Assets Providers Act in the whole of Africa. Is now the Virtual Assets Providers Act in Kenya. And this space, if you're not careful, will be the M-Pesa moment where, sorry to say this, bank said it's a passing cloud. Now, that infrastructure holds all your banks together. When the first got elected in 2017, I remember I had a question in Parliament. I asked the then governor of Central Bank what he thought about cryptos and bitcoins and all that space. And his response was 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph was introduction. The second paragraph was, there's a passing cloud. It is not of interest to Central Bank. It will go away. That was in 2018. 8 years later, we have 18 billion US dollars being traded in Kenya on virtual assets. We have 205 billion US dollars in Africa being traded as virtual assets. This is the third highest in the world, which means what the central bank governor told me was a passing cloud then is a big concern now. Where are the banks placing themselves in this space? Or are you going to say it's going to be a passing cloud? So I talk about data, I talk about digital inclusion. This is a space that you must think through and make sure you lead from the front. When I started working, during our days, I'm a millennial, so our graph was very clear. Complete your undergraduate, buy a piece of land, finish undergraduate, buy a piece of land, get married, buy a car, build a house. That was a graph. And if you try to buy a car before you bought land or before you build a house, your dad or mom will scold you and tell you are being irresponsible. But what are the young people doing now? Their spending habits have changed. Some of them don't need they feel to have to own their own car because they can always Uber. They don't feel the need to own their own home because they're okay paying the rent where they live. Which begs the question. Your banks, your institutions are still using collateral as the main basis for lending. Soon, you'll have nobody to lend to because these young people do not have those collaterals that you seek. Which means that you must up your game on data analytics, on your risk profile, because the traditional risk profiling that we used to do is no longer working. Someone they don't have a car, they don't have a title deed, but they have good income to spend on holidays across the world. Where are you going to place yourself in that space? But when I'm telling you about what your role is, what is my role as a legislator? The speaker before me, the speakers I found speaking, the panelist talks about the CBK amendment bill, that now CBK Amendment Act that was presented by the His Excellency the President 2 weeks ago. I pride myself in being the sponsor of that particular law with two objectives. One, we needed to increase the central bank's capacity to address banks that are in distress. The limit was very small, so we expanded that, the amount of that. But also, most importantly, giving now the Central Bank of Kenya training powers, because that was not there in the law before. And something else has been happening in the digital lending space, and I had someone speak to it. A few years ago, if you remember, in Kenya, people are complaining, it used to be called by people because someone took a loan and then they called the mother, they called the father, they called the brother, they called the relatives to tell them to pay that loan. That is where digital lending started. So when this space came and it came to my attention, the first instance by the central bank was, let's ban digital lending. But I told them no. It means there is a gap that they're trying to fill. The only thing that we need to do is bring them into regulations, bring them into a legal framework. And that is why in 2024, I sponsored the Business Laws Amendment Bill, now Business Laws Amendment Act, that now brings all the digital lenders into the regulator of the Central Bank of Kenya, with two, again, key components. What you call the induplam rule, where interest must not be higher than the principal amount. Now, digital lenders have also to adhere to that. Data privacy and preventing the predatory lending schemes that they were doing. That is how we are working together in this space to make sure there is sufficient financial inclusion. My next assignment is I followed the conversation by Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation. And the limit that they give if you lose your deposit is how much? Is how much? 7,000. So once we go back to our recess ends next week, I'll be sponsoring an amendment to that law to increase that limit to at least 1 million shillings so that we make sure it protects our depositors. Lastly, I know KB8 had a spirited conversation about revision of our PYE bands, and I'm talking about our Kenyan system. I know we were not able to carry on your amendments in our final report, but it is work in progress. And at the right time, we shall make sure that will be incorporated in a future legislation. But however, it's good to see you that you informed these bankers that out of your 5 asks, I think we gave you 4. The issue of collateral, the issue of VAT on card systems, and the definition of software in the Income Tax Act. So at least we took a bal pazuri, we tried. Lastly, the risks that are in this space. In Kenya, there is a new profession called Forex. And I don't think it's a Forex that you do in the banks. And I think these are the risks that we must also, as banks, continuously engage the public on what we do and how we do it. And let me tell you, it's so huge that every young person in Nairobi wants to be a Forex trader. And they drive the flashiest cars around and live the most lavish life around. But that's, if we don't catch up with communication of what Forex trading is, that will be taken as what you people do in your banks as Forex. Carding now has become, there's a new profession called carding. And these are just fraudsters and they clearly say this is what they do. I think in the banking space, we need to do a lot to make sure you also inform the public on what the role of the banking system is, and to make sure that we work with the relevant authorities to make sure that we inform the public accordingly. Lastly, the conversation was about aircrafts and a pilot. And a pilot will get late and someone volunteers to fly the plane. I'm like, thank you, but no thank you. We'll wait. But now that we are at Diani, let me talk about a boat. There are 3 different professions in a boat. There is a banker, there is a politician, and there is a teacher. And I think all those 3 professions are represented here. my professor from Strathmore Business School as a teacher. The politician is yours truly, and all of you as bankers. The boat starts to sink, and the banker asks, the banker says, we must save the money first. The politician says, we are headed to elections. We must save the voters first. The teacher says, we must save the next generation. We must save the children first. Then there is a quagmire. But the banker says, don't worry, people. With the right derivatives, leverage, and a bailout clause, we can all stay afloat, and the children can pay interest on the debt for the next 30 years. Then the banker quietly transfers the lifeboat to an offshore entity.